Ninth round pick out of the Citadel in 1981. Stump carved out a successful NFL career with the Cardinals.
He's strong. He can move. He was agile. He can make guys miss. He had it all. He had everything in the
game. In Cardinals franchise history, only Larry Fitzgerald has more all-purpose yards.
He did it all, man.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Browns fans. Want to welcome everyone. Tuesday, December 30th. This is episode 18, you guys. We've been hammering it week after week for the NFL season. Running Back University Stump Talk Podcast. Saphyr, our eloquent queen. Coach Stump, the best in the business. He has the beard and the hair and the glasses. He's been branded. And we have the best producer in the world, Russell Johnson, COO, National High School Hall of Fame. Our producer, we have the Dream Team, the Justice League, the Avengers. How you guys doing?
This is the happiest week of 2025, gentlemen. I just got to tell you that. The Browns beat the Steelers, so life is good in this neck of the woods.
Doing awesome.
Well, coming off that Steelers, go ahead, give us that sound. Woo-hoo! We might be. What's our record, Saphyr?
Oh my gosh.
Is it 3 and something?
But they won the most important game. Every year, every true Browns fan puts that home Steelers game on the calendar. So 100%, A++.
Well, they're 1-0. They were 1-0.
Hey, 1-0 Super Bowl. Right, we had a Super Bowl this weekend. So, Coach, I want to just ask you. This is off the script, but this is what we do. What is it like when you're in a Browns coach or just playing against a rivalry? How is that week different? Especially we're talking about the Browns versus Steelers. They're in proximity, demographic rise, and the history. What is that like for the players? Is there a difference?
Absolutely, there's a difference. Going into that game or going into the Ravens game, one thing, defensively, you're going to hold those guys for the most part, if it don't get out of hand, to 17 points for the most part. I mean, your defense is going to come up with 2 to 3 interceptions. That's been the case since Coach Schwartz been there. And if the offense don't help the Ravens defense out by having turnovers, you're going to be in the ball game until the whistle blows. So it's no surprise that they beat those guys. I mean, Coach Schwartz has done a hell of a job with that team ever since he's been there. And those guys, they get up to play regardless of how the offense is playing or how special teams are playing. Those guys, they go out there with the mindset that they're going to win, and especially when they're playing the Steelers.
Saphyr, being a longtime Browns fan, being a season ticket holder, I hope you get a tax write-off for this year for that. But what's it like being a Browns fan over the years when it comes to playing the Steelers?
Most Christians will recognize this term, and it's. I'll characterize it like this: we are long suffering, okay, in our love for this team. Long suffering. I know we're gonna get into the game, but whatever way it needed to happen, it happened. There were tears flowing in my house. That's how deep it goes.
Well, before we get into the game, I want to remind everyone and our Browns backers, Tuscarawas County, who's been a big supporter of ours this year with the podcast. They have their final viewing party, 50-50 raffles. There are going to be 9 raffles held. Mini helmets signed by Browns legends. There'll be jerseys raffled off. Ozzie Newsome, Denzel Ward. And so come out to Shenanigans in Dover this Sunday to check out the Browns versus the Bengals. Speaking of Denzel Ward, we were just talking about the final play of that Steelers Browns game. Coaches want you to interject. So Shedeur Sanders, 17 for 23, 186 yards. Can you talk about the turnover issues? I think that's one of the things that's kind of a dark cloud over Sanders and whether he's going to be our quarterback going into next year. What are your thoughts with Shador?
Well, he had a good first half. It's no question he had a good first half, but so did the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, Jalen Hurts had a great first half. They came out the second half and they only had 17 yards, I think, the Eagles. So Shador came out. You're talking about being a first year guy, and you got Jalen Hurts, who's won a Super Bowl. He had a bad second half, too. So let's not say Shador. It only makes Shador human. Unfortunately, you don't want to go in the interceptions that he threw, but the defense played extremely well. So when the bad mention the bad things about Shador, I'm gonna remind you also that Jalen did something, but also our big guy in Buffalo, he had a wide receiver wide open when they went for it for 2 points, and he wasn't pressured. He missed the throw. So Josh Allen, they got years in the league. Shador, he's a rookie. So let's not over, evaluate what he did being a rookie and say something about the things that these guys that's won a Super Bowl, that's been in championship games, they made the same mistakes too. So how are you going to crucify Shador when you don't see it even worse with these guys that have experience in the league?
Sapphire, as a fan, has Shador turned over the ball too much, in your opinion, given the circumstances he's facing on trying to be the quarterback for the Browns?
I love writing Coach Stump's dovetails because he just said what it was. And we have to remember Shador is a rookie. He's going to make those rookie mistakes. And when you have a line or on paper, right, who can't give you protection, he's the type of player that wants to make something happen. Again, not understanding the NFL moves at such a fast, even faster clip than anything he's ever experienced on the gridiron. So he made his bones with me and my family like 4 weeks ago. So these are rookie mistakes that if he has real coaches, they will help him clean up. And he should be the starter next year. That should be his job to lose as far as we are concerned.
Coach, the Browns rushing was 11 for 42. We know Junkins has had surgery, and I don't know what the turnaround time for that type of injury is. Coach, maybe you can talk to us about that. Fannin had a touchdown, our rookie tight end out of Canton, Ohio, and Bowling Green. He's had a great season. I think that's his seventh touchdown for a rookie tight end. But, Coach, you talked to me briefly about, change, the end of the year. And can you expound on what's going to happen, uh, possibly with Stefanski, i.e., Andrew Berry, and also what is the timing of that normally for NFL franchise coming into the week 18 and that turnover if that happens?
Well, everything has, with the Browns, you never know what's going to happen, when they're going to do what they're going to do. I mean, some things are on time. I know when they got rid of Mike Prefer, they had already given us a contract extension. I think the combine was already over. All jobs was filled, and then they let him go to bring in Bubble Vitrone after he had received another contract. So you just don't know what the Browns going to do or when they're going to do it. I just don't think that Andrew or Kevin should be there. I mean, they've seen that team from day one when they've gotten there, and it hadn't gotten better. It got worse under their tenure. The only thing that's stayed pretty good under their tenure has been Jim Schwartz and that defense. I mean, if Jim Schwartz was named the head coach, there's no question in my mind. Even if those guys were injured, it would be the same way as if when Joe Flacco came back, everybody would be up in arms and regardless of the state of their bodies, mentally, their mind would feel good because they know the type of effort that Jim Schwartz is going to give. And they know that now not only does he demand perfection from the defensive side of the ball, but he demands perfection from every phase of the ball because he is the head guy. I don't think you can bring somebody from someplace else that knows those players uh, in that franchise like Jim Schwartz. Now it's going to be more players because those offensive linemen, a lot of those guys are not probably won't be back. But I just think Jim's the guy for the job.
Sapphire, what do you think about the changing of the guard if that happens?
Well, I agree with what Coach Stump said, and for me, why would you leave either one of those two wonderful human beings to make a decision about the future of your team? Like, you don't have to waste picks on a quarterback as far as we're concerned. You don't have
Mhm.
to waste those picks on a quarterback. And based on the history, people are in the analytics, they haven't done well. So for me, my family, we talk about it. We expect to hear the ESPN alert somewhere between midnight and 3 a.m. on January 5th, gentlemen.
Back to you, Coach. So, if the Browns decide to move on from Coach Stefanski, when do you think they make that actual announcement? They may already know what they're going to do, but when will they actually, for PR and professionalism, when will they show us that they have moved on or not moved on?
I really can't answer that. If they want to do it, they can do it when the season is over. I mean, I've seen coaches uh, fired on the way home on trips, head coaches. So you just don't know. You see some guys they get rid of guys, some coaches before the season is even over. So that's something that the owner uh, has to make that decision when or if he wants to do it. But Jim Schwartz, I mean, I would see him and I would allow him to get a general manager that he thinks he can work with, because now you got both of those guys working uh, for the same thing. They know how they want to go, offense, defense, whatever the case may be. But that would be someone that Jim knows has his back, and he also have Jim's back.
I gotta
Can I chime in real quick?
go ahead, Russ. What are your thoughts?
I think whatever decision ownership has made with the head coach, I think it's already made. Whether he's coming back or will be fired, I think they already know what they're going to do. So we'll know probably soon as that game is over with. We'll know.
Well, Russ, if that's the case, who is their guy? I got some info that Chris Shula may be the guy from the Rams.
I
They
heard that.
earlier they were mentioning, Belichick. I don't know if the Gruden rumor has any track record behind it. But Russ, if that's the case, then it sounds like you're telling me they might have a guy in mind, right?
Absolutely. I
Well,
think they
see,
have I think they have a guy in mind for head coach and GM.
my
But Barry won't be leaving the building.
my thing, Russ, is that you bring somebody in that you know absolutely nothing about. I don't care if you
Absolutely.
get a search firm. I don't care who you get. Okay, and you got Jim Schwartz who's been there, done that. You've seen that. Why does he have to work for anybody else? It's just like when they had Ashton Grant there. Okay, they went out and they got somebody else to be the quarterback coach, but now Ashton Grant, he's just coaching Drake May. You
Right.
had him. Schwartz has worked there, I think, for 4 years now, whatever the case may be. But he's produced.
Absolutely.
Coach, I saw something today. Go ahead, Sapphire. What do
Well, I
you
was
think?
just gonna. I'm keying in on what Russ said. He won't be leaving the building. Like, as long as he has vacated the general manager position, I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm riding again with Coach Stump. I mean, think about the continuity that they could
Mhm.
have with Schwartz as the head coach and giving him the ability to say, this is the GM that's going to work best for me. It is ludicrous, okay, from our perspective, to be thinking about anything, bringing somebody in from the outside when you already have Kim from all sides of the ball with Coach Schwartz. So I just wanted to stick that in there.
Coach Dump in our panel, we're already sickened. We deserve some continuity. We deserve for them to make the right decisions, right? And so we got Andrew Berry. Should he be there? Shouldn't he? Maybe we keep him because he has a skill set with working the cap and working the numbers. But if the Browns do send Schwartz off, there's other teams that looks like it's going to be vying for the services of Jim Schwartz, coach. I saw that today as well. And they watched Van Pelt, our guy, Coach Stump, and Callahan walk right out the door, right, with a parting gift. And so, coach, I'll tell you this, it'll be really disheartening if they screw this up. You know, we have went through a lot here as sports fans in this market. And, you know, as you said, Schwartz is a guy. But Coach Stump, let's be honest, it wouldn't surprise us, right?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all. They didn't build that team. They tore that team down. A lot of the players that were there before they came there. And some of the players that they brought there that were successful, they allowed to go, let go. Donovan People Jones, Amari Cooper, Case Keenum, Dearness Johnson. I mean, those guys, they produced for the Browns and they let them go. So the players that they brought in that produced, they allowed them to let go. The players that are producing now were players that were there when they got there. And they allowed those players, especially the offensive linemen, to get too old. They didn't bring in Denzel Ward. They didn't bring in Miles Garrett. Those guys were there when they got there. Now they brought in some guys that's producing this year, but you don't know what'll happen 3 or 4 years if they keep those guys or if they try to move them on down the road as well. I mean, that's been Andrew's history to make a play. Everybody's reporting. Every move that you make is being reported. Andrew want to make sure he gets the opportunity to have his name out there.
Russ, while we have you here, I want to ask you, you watched the game. I believe you were at the game, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to ask you in regards to Miles Garrett. Do you think the Steelers were more focused on him not getting that record than actually winning the game? I saw some information out there from media outlets. You think there's any credence to that?
Well, Miles made the statement that they were basically completely out there hookup, offensive hookup, focused on sending 2 blockers, 3 blockers, short passes, so he couldn't get the sack. So you basically sabotaged your team possibly making the playoffs because you wanted to keep him from breaking a record. I don't know, but in my book, that's a fireable offense for the head coach. Even though he's built up, a whole bunch over the years for Pittsburgh. If put yourself in the Cleveland Browns fans' shoes, and the Browns had the opportunity to make the playoffs, and Stefanski did something like that, we will be like packing his bags for him.
What I would say about that is that sure they didn't want Miles to get the record, but I looked at it this way: there were several times on 3rd and 3 to 4 down yards where they took the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hand.
Yeah,
They
Right.
just ran the ball. I'm like, what's up with that?
yeah. And don't forget, he checked out of a lot of plays too. So he changed a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage. And never threw the ball. I think he threw the ball more than like 10 yards down the field, maybe a handful of times, maybe 4 or 5 times.
Sapphire, did you see Rogers miss the open receiver at the end of the game? And I saw the replay of it today. Of course, the Monday, what they call it, the Monday quarterback is always a lot easier to assess what's going on. But the guy was wide open, and Rogers could have scored a touchdown. Did you happen to see that?
Yeah, I did, and I don't know if we're talking about the same receiver, but it just looked like some miscommunication. I also want to go back and say what Coach Stump said, yes, but Aaron Rodgers has a history of dictating what he wants to do on the gridiron. So I would not put it past his view of what the game should look like to be a factor into the play calling. And number three, it's nice to see a lady in our chat room. Shout out to Jen Victoria, giving Coach Mitchell props and saying she was hoping that Miles could break the sack record, but they should have moved him around a little bit more to keep their defense guessing. Also, Steelers didn't want to look awful if Rodgers was who broke the record. Thank you, Jen Victoria.
Yeah, thanks, Jen.
Hey, Coach Stump, I want to ask you. So Tomlin had a chance to move up and beat the Browns. Now they're in a shootout at the OK Corral with the Ravens next week, which will essentially have a playoff feel to it. If Tomlin does not win that game, Coach, what do you think will happen? Will the Steelers consider moving on from Tomlin? Do you think his job is safe?
Oh wow. I don't know if they will. Con- well, everything is considerable. It may not be possible. I don't. Man, that's tough. That's really tough. Again, he's still going to have a winning record. He'll be 9-8, I think. Uh, but I thought they paid way too much attention to Miles last week instead of playing offensive football. If that was their goal, just to prevent Miles from getting a sack and not throwing the ball down the field some, I thought it was bad. I mean, yeah, they didn't have DK, but there was other opportunities to get some people the ball and try to make some things happen. For you to only score 6 points, I know they missed a field goal there, but for you to only score 6 points and lose that game 6-10, that's just bad. And Tomlin, he says all the right things. I heard him say, well, he thought they played good. How the hell can you think they played good? Come on, man. I mean, you're pretty smart and everything, but they did not play good. They did not play good at all. But that's what he said.
Russ, I want to ask you. You've been attending the home games, and you've been able to kind of keep us updated on the pulse of the stadium and the fans. You
Yes.
know, and especially since Shador has been thrown into the lineup. So, what was it like at the stadium? I mean, were people excited? Were they grumbling? Were they? Was the wind? Did the wind overshadow all the other problems we have going on? Like,
Yeah, the,
what?
the the win was. I mean, everybody was excited. Going in, we were looking at, okay, where we at with this draft pick. Can we get a top two pick? But beating the Steelers changes everything. That was our Super Bowl. So
But not
fans
only
left happy.
not only beating the Steelers, they didn't score a touchdown.
Right.
That in
And
itself speaks to Jim Schwartz being the head coach.
and there was a lot of Steelers fans there, and they didn't. It was kind of strange because typically when we have Steeler week, Steeler fans are a little irate. They're a little loud. They like to start fights. And it was like chill. I couldn't believe it. And it was chill before the game. You know what I mean? Usually they're getting riled. It was unlike Buffalo. Buffalo fans were like they were ready to go to like they're Super Bowl bound. They took over the stadium. They were loud. They were saying their chants. It was like a mouse with the Pittsburgh fans. It's like they came for a funeral almost.
Well, Pittsburgh usually know when they come to Cleveland, they're no matter how bad they're playing, they
Mhm.
usually don't get out there with a win.
They haven't lately.
You
I
know,
think they've won. I
maybe
don't
one
know. Yeah,
game in
maybe
the last
one.
5 or 6 years.
Yes, yes,
So, I got two topics I want to cover as we expand on this, you guys, that I think are the elephant in the room, Coach. So we got Shador, we got Watson, and Russ. You Russ watches more sports than anybody I've ever met. So, you see the local media, everybody's talking about them possibly getting another quarterback,
yes.
Saphyr and Stump. And that, for me, especially talking, coach has been telling us he's always about 8 weeks ahead of the rest of the world. But we finally caught up. They need linemen. They need wide receivers. They
Obviously,
got so many holes to patch up. And but yet, when you watch these local media guys, I'm not gonna call anybody's name out, coach. It's been frustrating because they keep hammering this quarterback narrative to us, and I'm like, to me, that's just going to set us back another 3 or 4 years. So I want to start with you, Russ. I mean, going into the draft, I'm going to ask you, what do you think the Browns will do as opposed to what you want them to do? What do you think they'll actually do as far as executing uh, this draft?
I think right now where they're at, draft wise, position wise, they'll probably take best wide receiver available, and I think that's the smartest move. And then go tackle with the second first round pick, and go maybe tackle guard with the second round pick. I think that's probably the best move, and maybe
That,
either. And it kind of depends on where you're at on the board, what player is available. But you definitely need to leave your top four picks with maybe two receivers, two offensive linemen.
that sounds really good, Russ. I don't think they're going to do that. Sapphire, what do you think the Browns are going to do?
I'm actually going to agree with Russ and Jen Victoria, who is screaming to the world what we all know. Can they just focus on the QBs they have, develop them instead of this revolving door? Coach Stump has been saying for 2 years now clearly what the position needs are. And this is why when I say be gone, look, they're going to get paid. They're going to get whatever their contracts are. It is time for some new decision makers at that GM and head coaching position. Okay, so I'm riding with Russ and Coach Stump on this too.
But Stump, before you answer, let me repeat the question. I think Russ and Sapphire missed it. The
Mm.
question was, what do you think the Browns are going to do?
Well, I told you, I said I think they'll take wide receiver and best player available.
Okay, I just want to make
You
sure
know,
because I
because
think
they've missed out on the opportunity to get one of the top two
Mhm,
quarterbacks. I
mhm,
mean,
mhm,
you
mhm.
won't end up in the top two, so it doesn't make sense to trade up. Kind of see what you got out of Shador at this point.
given their track record though, Russ, I don't. The one thing Stump has taught me is historical data and what your eyes see is kind of dictates
But
reality, right?
but
Coach
you
Stump,
you you got to be smarter than that. Sorry, coach. You have to be smarter as a franchise. You know what you need. You need offensive lineman. You need a number one receiver. You can't go out and buy a number one receiver. You have to get them in the draft. And right, you're in a prime opportunity to get you one. Carnell Tate, the kid, Jalen Tyson. You need
USC
one.
kid is good.
Yeah, you need one of those. You need one of those guys. You need a number one receiver. We know Judy is not that guy. He's a good maybe a 3-2-3, but and I like Bond. I like what Bond is doing. Tillman still needs to stay healthy, but you need a number one guy.
Coach Stump, you had some experience in watching these drafts, probably pretty closer than the rest of us, and seeing those actual players hit the field. Given you know what your eyes see, as you always say, and knowing who we're dealing with the brass at the Browns, what will they do?
I don't know what they would do, but I would make Jim Schwartz the head coach. I would bring in a general manager that he can work with, and I would work with that offensive line first. I would definitely get me a couple offensive linemen, and like Russ said, a receiver. But I think Judy would be better if next year if Shador or whoever is the quarterback, if you can get some offensive linemen, if it's not a circus when you make Jim Schwartz the head coach, whoever the offensive coordinator is when they come in, it's not going to be a circus around. We don't know if this guy is going to play quarterback or that guy is going to play quarterback. It may be an open competition, but all of those guys will be, at least the first two will be getting reps. You don't need to draft a quarterback right now. You need offensive linemen. Shador can play. Will he get better than he was this year? Yes, because listen, Shador has never had to compete a day in his life. He was always a quarterback at every level, regardless if quarterbacks were better than him. He was going to be playing for his daddy. That's the bottom line. Anybody else's son was going to be their backup. Okay, so this is really the first time Shador would have to compete. If Deshaun was there, they would have to compete. Shador may beat him out. Okay, but either one of those guys at quarterback, if you get an offensive line, they're going to be able to help that defense that Jim Schwartz would have. Defense, so they said, Russ, in the past, win Super Bowls. Well, you really got to be really good because they throw the ball so much now. But I believe you name Jim Schwartz the head coach, and he'll figure out what they need to do. Definitely, that offensive line need to get better, and you do need another receiver. So, however they want to go by shake out that, that's what needs to be to done.
Well, I want to say hello to the Bearded Browns, our good buddies. So I'll just say this, you guys. I'm in disagreement with all three of you, respectfully. The Browns have shown me. Once somebody shows me who they are, coach, I'll write it down, and it is what it is. And they have shown a very shaky track record in making the right decisions. Russ, you mentioned that Andrew Berry had a great draft, but he still We're gonna have to count his. He's held accountable too, right? He had two running backs, two quarterbacks in the first draft. His third rounder got beat out by the fifth rounder. And I also say this, Coach Stump, right now for my taste, I don't think Shador's a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson. Now we all love Shador. We want him to be the future. But if you line him up man to man, I don't think Shador can beat him out of that position, Coach. I don't. Deshaun Watson, as you always reminded us, he was on All Pro in this league, not in college, not in high school. He's been there and done that, right? Shador has a lot of, he has a lot of football ahead of him, but right now I don't see him beating out Deshaun Watson as a quarterback if they hopefully go that route. But given the Browns, it would not surprise me, Coach. I think they will get a wide receiver, and then I believe they're going to jump out in the water and do something goofy, and kind of screw this thing up. And I also will say this, Coach. I see them with this Jim Schwartz situation. It just scares me that they're going to screw that up. I don't still have a whole lot of belief based on the last 2 years of what we've seen. So, uh, but moving on from that, I want everyone's take on the AFC North showdown. The Ravens and the Steelers. Don't bet with your heart, bet with your money and your mind. Coach Stump, we're going to start with you first. Who comes out in the AFC North next week?
Well, you don't even know who's playing quarterback for Baltimore right now. So, and I don't think Derek is going to be able to just run the ball against Pittsburgh the way they did this past weekend. I just don't. I don't see that happening. They're going to put some guys on the line. They're going to make you beat them with receivers, and I just don't know. I think it's going to be a heck of a game. The Browns did their part. They made it a meaningful game. So you still had three teams that was involved in this final. The Browns just not the last two. That's going to make it happen. But this was the perfect year for the Browns. Had they started off right, training camp, and knowing that they were going to go with Joe, get that offensive line and everybody right, receivers combination, they would be right there. Probably would have already won the division by now.
Sapphire, Ravens, or the Steelers to win the AFC North?
I can see the Ravens defeating the Steelers if they just mimic what they did in their last game. The Steelers are without DK. They're without Austin. I think I heard a report today that TJ Watt was going to be back in the building, which is insane given the injury that he sustained as part of that whatever rehabilitation thing. And then of course Darnell Washington is out. I believe he broke his arm. So what I loved that the Ravens did, and I hate to sound like this, but I totally called their last game. Just use the fullback, establish the run, right? Like I don't think as great as people like to characterize Highsmith, Cam Hayward's old. With all due respect, they just need to run the ball down their throat, and they should win the game at Pittsburgh.
Well,
Russ?
I tell you one thing: if Watt can play in Hayward, that's a heck of a tandem. Those guys together, it's tough. The Browns was lucky that Watt wasn't there because the games that Browns have lost, Watt and Highsmith, that combination, that's tough. That's a tough combination when you got both of those guys on the field.
Russ, who you got? Ravens
Ravens
or the
all
Steelers?
day. I don't think it's close. I think Pittsburgh showed who they were. Aaron Rodgers don't want to get hit. Ravens gonna come with some blitzes. They'll play just good enough defense. Mix it up with Pittsburgh, and I'll just say run the ball. Ravens probably should have been in the Super Bowl last year had they did what they did last week against the Packers. I think they depended on um, Lamar a little too much being a pocket passer instead of sticking to what they truly are is basically an option run team.
Yep.
And till they stop you and prove that they can stop you, keep running the ball.
But so do they go with Lamar or do they go with
I go with Snoop. I
yeah,
go with
Absolutely.
but see,
Absolutely.
because right now, the last game Lamar played in, you could see that he wasn't the
he
runner
wasn't. Nope.
that we know he can be. It's no question. He's not totally healthy, and if they could get by this week with Snoop, Now
We
he may be able to come back in a couple weeks and play.
we can rewind back to when Snoop was in training camp with the Browns, and
Oh,
that's
no question.
another blunder that they made. They could have started the
Hello.
season with Snoop and
Hello.
Shador as his backup. We could have won 8, 9 games
Hmm.
easy.
Well, I want to say I want to agree with you guys, but the Ravens went through a tough stretch. I always talk to coach about why do people go away from the run game. I know we're in this era of analytics and these
Hmm.
pretty young offensive coordinators, coach, but they went away from Henry and they had a stretch. They started losing games. I don't get it. But with that being said, they are playing in Pittsburgh, and
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers looks a little bit aged, but he's still Aaron Rodgers. So uh, I'm gonna be the black sheep again. Tonight's black sheep night for me. I'm gonna go with the Steelers because they're at home. Tomlin is, I'm kind of rooting for the guy. I like Mike Tomlin, and I want him to get that monkey off his back and get back in the mix. Sorry, Browns fans, but I'm going with the Steelers to win the AFC North. Coach, I want to ask you about another closely related division. The Bucks. Yeah, good one, Russ. But we have the Panthers versus the Bucks. Our guy Mayfield, Coach, we was rooting for our guy Baker, and we were rooting for Flacco, and for various reasons. Now the Bucks are in a situation that even if the Saints, I believe the Saints win, the Bucks still are out. So they have to beat the Panthers and the Saints have to lose. Coach, they were in the driver's seat. The Panthers have come on late. I didn't even realize the Panthers were playing good football. Coach, you kind of told me, and I
not
went and
not to
looked.
interrupt you real quick.
Yeah,
With the Falcons winning last night, I think the Panthers won the division.
but the Buck they may have. I know. I think the Bucks are still have a possibility to get in though.
Nah, because they would even if the Panthers lose this week, it would somehow be a three-way tie, and the
Yeah,
Panthers have the
I
tiebreaker.
I think that Saints game has some precedence over that as well.
Uh,
Coach Stump, you know anything about that? I'm gonna look it up.
okay.
No, I didn't look at that before we were coming on. I thought the game meant something. I didn't know by the Panthers. I mean, by Atlanta winning last night. You saying it eliminated the
Yeah,
Bucks?
eliminated the Bucks. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it did. Let me find out.
Wow.
With that being said, Coach,
Yeah.
the Bucks went on a skid. Um, I don't know if anyone has paid attention to Baker Mayfield, and he went down. He was an MVP race in the first 4 or 5 weeks.
Playing
Uh,
injured.
you said it was an injury, Russ.
Yeah, he's been playing injured. I don't know what it is, but you know Baker. We know Baker better
Hmm.
than anybody. And
You're right. Bucks playoffs. Well, I want to ask you guys. The AFC playoffs. We got the Broncos, the Pats.
Now the Bucks are still in it.
I thought
Uh,
so. I
yeah,
thought
they're still in it. Atlanta was eliminated, but the Bucks are still in it. But the only way the Bucks they have to win the game in order to make it happen.
yes, and they need somebody. Oh, here it is. Here, the Bucks win and Carolina loses.
mhm.
Uh, what else does it say here? So they are still in there, Russ, some kind
They're
of way.
still in it. Okay.
Yes, but
Yeah.
that's going to be a big game. So who do you have, Coach? Between you going with the Bucks or the Panthers? Who you think is going to pull that game out? It's in Tampa Bay.
Well, I'm thinking Tampa's going to come through. Mike Evans and Baker. I think they're going to make it happen.
Sapphire.
No, I'm not feeling the Bucks for this game. I mean, with all due respect, as a fan of the Browns, seeing Baker here, it's just like he never seems to get over the mountaintop. For some reason, something happens. And as great as he and Mike Evans, play together, no. Panthers. I'm going with the Panthers.
Who you got, Russ? Panthers
Panthers.
versus Bucks. You going with the
Panthers.
Panthers?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Carolina Panthers as well. The NFC playoffs: Seahawks, the Bears, the Eagles, the 49ers, Rams, and Packers. Right now, the Raiders have the best chance for the number one pick. Of course, they have to still draw the ball or whatever, but the percentage wise, uh, I think it goes by percentages. Is that correct, Coach Stump?
No, it goes by record.
The record? Okay. So maybe it's because it's going into week 18. So the Raiders probably looks like they will get the number one pick.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I think they have it locked.
yeah. So uh, who should be the number one pick in the college draft, Coach Stump?
I don't know. I was strictly involved with West Georgia. I wasn't looking at nobody else.
100%. Saphyr or Russ, anybody stand out in that draft that's a Travis Hunter or a
I,
must have that can change the culture or affect the culture?
I think Mendoza is probably your number one. We'll see a lot in these couple college football playoff games. I like Moore better as a quarterback, but I think Mendoza, with his size and the way he can spin it, he'll probably be the first pick.
So, Coach, I want to talk about the CFP, the college playoffs. Um, there's obviously the Georgias and the Ohio State is playing Miami tomorrow. Coach, do you see any upsets in this next round where the lower ranked team has a chance to come out on top? Miami is very animated because we had some suspect calls in that last national championship game some years ago, Miami versus the Buckeyes. But you see any upsets in this next round of CFP college playoffs?
I just don't think the quarterback at Miami is good enough, in my opinion. I mean, I know he left Georgia, but I don't see him uh, good enough to win the college national championship. I don't see it. I think Indiana is going to be a tough. They got a tough matchup. They have a tough match. Guys been there, done that, but they got a heck of a team. They got a heck of a coach. I don't put it past them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went down in that game, though.
Sapphire, should we be worried about Miami at all?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. I blanked there a little bit. I do. I've never been a Julian Sand fan. It's just, you
Me
know,
neither.
I just feel like as great as Ohio State has shown itself to be, their schedule to me doesn't feel as strong as some of the other conferences. And I don't think this year they faced any real pressure like they did in that Indiana game. And I felt like in that Indiana game, we saw their limitations, right? So I think, look, I don't know what Miami's defense looks like. I don't follow them, but I really do think, given this is a winner take all, this is a stressful, pressurized game, it's going to be interesting to see how Julian Sands responds to that. He's got great
Uh,
assets. No reason why he shouldn't be successful, but we'll see what they do.
Russ, before you respond, I'm going to agree with. I never was really on the same train. I think you can find a lot of quarterbacks to throw to Tate and Smith.
Hmm.
You got 5 stars across the line. You got two. Bo Jackson, the stud running back. I don't know how difficult it is to be a Ohio State quarterback. Just my opinion. But Russ, you see any potential problems with the Buckeyes facing
I
the
like
Hurricanes tomorrow?
I like Miami's defense. They had a good defensive line. I think they can be exposed in the secondary. And I think we've talked about this all year. You made it clear about saying and how you feel about him. I think he's going to make you a believer, bro.
You know what, Russ? You're a great evaluator of talent, except the quarterback position. We might have to find
I
you.
think he's going to make you a believer. I think a lot of people saw what happened in the Indiana game. And I told you this before that Indiana game. The Buckeyes did not go into that game trying to win that game.
Mm.
Coach Day, he's a mental strategist, and he needs certain hurdles for his team in order, I think, to coach him up to get to where he wants them to go. And I don't think they kind of were prepared to win that game. He kind of coached it to um, not to win. He coached not to win, And if they would have won, it would have been okay. Yeah, we won the game, but he did not coach to win the game.
I think I think he's got an easier matchup against Miami.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely, absolutely. I think the Michigan game was tougher.
Yeah, I mean Miami. I think the quarterback he's just all right. I don't you don't fear
Too
him.
bad.
He's not a guy who you think
They got
can
it.
just beat you.
They got a pretty good running back.
Yes,
One receiver, but they're not like loaded like Ohio State. You know what I mean?
right.
So
Well,
You know what I like? What I like is that Coach Day took over the play calling for the rest of the year, right?
mhm.
Because it's just me being the way women watch a game. I think we played Indiana on the 6th of December. And then 2 days later, Hartline was down there announcing he's going to take over I think it's University of Southern Florida program. So the question becomes, is your head locked? Are you locked in?
Mhm.
Right. So I do want to, because I've not always been a Coach Day fan, but I think he absolutely made the right decision.
Mhm.
Well, I
so,
think coaches get other jobs, but it's a time in which they have to do things. I think they're locked in. This happens 10, 9 weeks, 11 weeks after the season. So for the most part, there's nothing new that they're going to do schematic wise. They're locked into either offense or defense, whatever aspect of the game that they're coaching. So
well, I tell you, we have some great games. In one bracket, we got Texas Tech versus Oregon, 4 versus 5, and then we got Indiana versus Alabama, which is going to be a good test for Indiana. And then Georgia plays Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss obviously had Kiffin has moved on to LSU. I think that's going to affect maybe that game. I think some players might be missing from that game as well. And then OSU Miami. I will say this, Coach Stump, in every college football playoff, as an Ohioan, in my opinion, Russ, you might know this. I was always fearful of Georgia. They just had. I don't give a crap what they're ranked. You see that G on that helmet for Ohio State fan is like,
Mhm.
and so Coach, it looks like it's a good possibility in this next round. It's going to be OSU Georgia, and that's to me that's a scary game for Ohio State. Coach Dunn, what do you think about the Georgia team this year?
well, Georgia got to survive. I mean, Ole Miss, it's not a gimme. Those guys can play.
Yeah, they can.
Uh, they no, they don't have Lane there, but they got the offensive coordinator there. He's calling plays, and they're gonna be ready to play. It's not gonna be a gimme game for Georgia.
Yeah, that Mississippi team, they got playmakers. Kyron Lacey, the running back, and Trinidad. They got some playmakers.
Yeah.
Sapphire, does Georgia scare you as much as they scare me? In
No,
that
and
next
I'm no, not at all. And I'm dating myself because for me, it was back in the day, it was Miami, the U, right? So I am looking at that game. I'm interested in that game, but even more that Texas Tech Oregon game. That's the one I think the sleeper could come out of that, get the winner of that game.
So I want to get back to the Browns. Coach, is game 18 the last game of the season? Uh, I want to applaud our team here. We've been gunning. We've been in there all 18 weeks as well. Thank you guys for the hard work, bringing Sapphire into the fold, and
Yeah.
Russ's production skills has definitely catapulted us.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's the last game of the season, Coach Stump. You're on the coaching staff. What is there to accomplish at this point for the Browns, given their record? All the stuff that's occurred and going into the offseason. What can the Browns gain from this game versus the Bengals?
Well, they're definitely trying to get the sack record. It's no question about that. I mean, everybody wants that. Coach Schwartz wants that. Alex Wright, all those guys, they want to be a part of that. You
Yeah.
know. And again, it's another divisional game. Chase, those guys. I mean, they don't particularly care for the Browns. There's no love lost between the Bengals and the Browns either.
Nope.
So both teams are going to be. They know they're eliminated from the playoffs, but both teams are going to be going out there trying to get the win. And I know Scott Peters, who was a assistant offensive line coach in Cleveland, is definitely going to try to shore his guys up to try to prevent Miles from getting a sack record. So both of them have something that they're trying to get accomplished. One trying to break the sack record, and the other's trying to prevent it from happening.
Sapphire, what would you like to see from the Browns? What do you want to? What positives do you want to take that we can get from this last game of the season?
I really hate to sound like this, gentlemen, but for me, the second biggest positive would be if Shador Sanders could finish this year without being injured. Like, I'm just that concerned because of our line. And I will say, I do want to see Miles Garrett like break the record, and I have mixed feelings because I actually am a Joe Burrow fan, Ohio kid. He's been through a lot this season off the field as well, and it'll be bittersweet for me, to be honest with you.
Russ, Cincinnati versus the Browns. Um, what can we gain from it?
We can see more out of Shador, see what he can end the season with. I'm with Sapphire, great point. If he can finish the game, no injuries, I really don't want to see anybody on the team suffer any like catastrophic injuries. I hope we can just play a good game and everybody walk away healthy, and then we can see what we're doing with this coaching job. I
Russ,
can't. I'm not picking either way. I could care less if they win this game. It's just about staying healthy. I think. Let's just get it over
Yep,
with.
yep.
well, you guys, this will be our last podcast of 2025.
We're not gonna do a closeout.
Well, no, wait. So Stumper call. He'll call the first week of the playoffs.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and doing impromptu shows, so ain't no weeks off. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought last time we were done and we went through the playoffs. So our fans, Browns backers, and folks watching, will probably do some playoff coverage and get Stump's perspective on a few things. But this will be the last show of 2025. So again, I want to thank you guys for the time and the work and finding our magic and just doing what we love to do. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna start with you, Coach. Any New
but
Year's resolutions?
well, when we come back next Tuesday, there could be new coaching changes. I
Mhm.
mean,
If that's the case, Coach, we gonna do an emergency broadcast.
so
We gonna
you
break
just
it live.
you just don't know, man. I mean, stuff usually happens on Monday.
If they do it Friday, we're gonna do a show Friday. I don't care if it's 6 in the morning. I'm waking everybody up and we going live.
Yeah, yeah. We would definitely like to say Happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully it's safe and we'll get an opportunity to see them next week.
Sapphire, any New Year's Eve plans, resolutions?
Always family first, up in the church. I just want to wish everyone, including Jen Victoria, who hung out with us
You
all
did.
show.
Hey,
And I
you know
want
we
to
love
wish,
you, man.
right? So I just want to wish each of you happiness and health and just love.
Russ is having a get together at his house for New Year's.
Yeah, we'll have a big blowout. Just happy New Year to everyone. I hope we all have a great, prosperous 2026 and go Browns. Go
Yes.
Buckeyes.
Go Browns and Buckeyes.
Go Browns, go Buckeyes. Meet us at Shenanigans this Sunday for the Bengals Browns game. Uh, Hello, Rich and Jason, our Ski County Browns backers. Also, want to say thank you to the Here We Go Brownies, Dustin and Allie. We definitely want to thank them for getting us started on this podcast journey and
Mhm.
cutting our teeth. And Dustin is a very hard working guy, so that's our brother. Want to say hello to him. Coach Stump, your name is plastered on everything. We're gonna give you the last word.
Listen, it's been a great year. Not the year that we expected as Browns fans. Or I should say we wanted. I expected it. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. Hopefully, next year the Browns will be in a position to host that trophy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Go Browns, go Buckeyes. Have a good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.